Runs through tackles. Trey Benson to the secondary. Trey Benson to the end zone.
Benson, first down, still running. Trey Benson, all the way to the end zone. Hat-trick touchdown for Benson.
I'm Alex Johnson. This is Yards Per Fantasy, and today we're talking Florida State running back Trey Benson. We're going to dive into his background and college career, discuss the positives and negatives in his prospect profile, try to determine his dynasty value, and if and where you should target him in your rookie drafts. Trey Benson, he's a running back out of Florida State. He's a redshirt junior. He's 21 years old. He's listed as 6'1", 223 pounds. Trey Benson attended St. Joseph Catholic High School in Greenville, Mississippi. There he won back-to-back state titles and combined for 3,616 yards and 48 touchdowns over his final 2 high school seasons. That included a senior season with 10 100-yard rushing performances and 3 games with more than 200 yards. Benson was a 3-star recruit in the 2020 class, and he ranked as the number 20 running back in the nation. He committed to Oregon over offers from Louisville, Arizona State, Florida State, Notre Dame, and others. However, before his Ducks career could begin, Trey Benson suffered a major injury. According to Bleacher Report, it was an ACL, MCL, lateral meniscus, medial meniscus, and a tendon in his hamstring, all torn in one shot. Brutal. But Benson wound up redshirting his freshman season and was only able to return for 6 carries in 2021. Looking for a fresh start, Trey Benson entered the transfer portal and took his talents to Florida State in 2022. There he started 6 of 13 games, and despite sharing the backfield, he did lead the team with 156 carries for 990 rushing yards and 9 touchdowns. His 5 100-yard rushing performances were the most by a Florida State running back since Cam Akers back in 2019, according to the team's website. It was an impressive bounce back after his tumultuous time in Oregon. In fact, Benson was so impressive that he broke PFF's record for most missed tackles forced per attempt in a single season. Now, he did have minimal impact in the passing game with just 13 receptions, and he also handled some return duties, fielding 5 kickoffs and taking one of those back for a touchdown. And Benson had another solid campaign in 2023. In 13 games, he carried the ball 154 times, resulting in 906 yards and 14 touchdowns. He was a bit more involved as a pass catcher with 227 yards and a score on 20 receptions. And that was enough to earn second-team All-ACC honors for the 2nd straight season. But let's talk about the positives, the things that we like in Trey Benson's profile. The first is his speed. He also has good acceleration, getting to that top speed very quickly. He's explosive. He's a home run threat. He's got enough elusiveness to make guys miss in the open field. He's also a patient runner behind the line of scrimmage. And while he wasn't used a lot in the passing game, he does have natural hands, and he averaged 11.2 yards per reception for his career. And he's got great ball security, never fumbled during his time at Oregon or Florida State. On the negative side, Trey Benson struggles in pass protection, but a lot of guys coming out of college do. He also has inconsistent effectiveness in short yardage situations. Probably not the guy you're turning to on 3rd and 1 to pick up a tough yard. He also has a tendency to run towards contact, which is surprising because he is elusive. He can make guys miss. He can break tackles. We saw that. So if he can stop running towards contact, man, this guy can be really good. Trey Benson averaged 1.26 yards per team play in 2023. I'm really looking for something more in the 1.8s, 1.9s. And he had just a 7.6% reception share. I really want these guys to hit at least 10%. But we know he has the natural ability to catch passes. Hopefully that'll be something he does more of in the NFL. But before we get into my NFL comp and my draft projection for Trey Benson, I just want to make sure that you're aware you don't have to wait until your rookie drafts to get your hands on some Trey Benson shares. Underdog Fantasy makes it possible to draft these rookies right now. Go draft some Trey Benson. Go draft some Marvin Harrison Jr. or Caleb Williams. And when you sign up for Underdog Fantasy, make sure you use promo code YARDSPER and they will double your first time deposit up to $100. And then look for me in a draft room. I'm already drafting a bunch of 2024 teams, so I will probably be there. Archetype for Trey Benson, he's an all-purpose running back. Like I said, he wasn't utilized a ton in the passing game at Florida State, but he's got the skills. He showed us enough that he can do it. My NFL comp for him is Joe Mixon, kind of one of these similar guys, size, athleticism, receiving skills that maybe isn't fully utilized, but he's certainly more than capable. In my draft projection for Trey Benson, I expect him to come off the board in the 3rd round, but it's really hard to predict with this running back class where these guys are going to go. He could go as high as the 2nd round as the RB1 off the board. Really just depends on how these NFL teams are looking at these guys and who prefers who. The bottom line is, Trey Benson overcame a brutal injury to begin his college career to go on to have 2 productive seasons at Florida State. He's a big running back at 6'1", 223 pounds. He runs with violence and aggression and is difficult to take down with simple arm tackles, especially once he gets ahead of steam. But Benson is not your typical 220-pound bruising running back. He's also an excellent athlete with impressive acceleration and explosion to shoot through holes and get to the next level of a defense. And then he has the breakaway speed to take it to the house. He is a true home run threat. On top of that, Trey Benson displays good patience and vision with lateral agility and a devastating vertical cut to make the most of every running lane. He is elusive enough to make guys miss in the open field, but he sometimes will invite contact more than he needs to. In the passing game, Trey Benson has natural hands and he uses his running back skills well to eat up yards after the catch. However, he will need to improve his pass protection if he's going to become a consistent contributor on passing downs in the NFL. Speaking of the NFL, Trey Benson has the traits to be a starting running back on a lot of teams. He's going to bring value on all 3 downs, and he proved at Florida State that he can thrive in multiple rushing schemes. As it stands now, Trey Benson is looking like a 3rd round pick, but it would not be a surprise to see him come off the board in the 2nd. In Dynasty, he's going to make for an excellent pick in the 2nd round of rookie drafts. And while it's still early in the process, Trey Benson is trending towards being my RB1 in the 2024 draft class.